No.
No!
No! What?
Because I was married for 2 fucking years!
You're a cunt, Brian.
Fuck you, Carmen.
You're a cunt, Brian.
No, sir, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it.
Fuck you, Carmen.
You're a cunt, Brian.
No, sir, I don't like it.
What's up, everybody? It's episode 128 of No Sir, I Don't Like It. I'm Carmen Morales. With me, as always, the very funny Brian Vokey.
Hi.
Hey, what's up? Hello.
I thought we were going to plow right through that and right into Allie.
And he's referencing our wonderful guest this week, which is Miss Allie Macofsky.
Woo!
Thank you for coming
Thanks
onto the
for
show.
having me.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I like watching your guys' clips on the Instagram and Facebook and whatnot.
Nice.
And now I'm here.
Now you're here. Now you will be a clip.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That's what's so exciting. I'm like, which section is going to be picked?
Yeah. It depends on who cuts the clips. If I cut it, it's a very different from whatever he cuts.
What's your style of cutting?
We're like cummy,
Your arm.
Yeah.
inner thigh. I hold my sadness in my inner thigh. The
It's sweet, supple, sad meat.
Looks like gills. My thigh looks like a shark.
The Little Mermaid reboot. But just about how she's a tortured artist under the sea.
I do. I put on a mermaid costume and I cut my arm and I cry. And then I go outside and I bully people to hide from who I really am.
Nice.
So Allie Macofsky, you're a well-known racist in the...
Yeah. I'm a pedophile too. That'll be coming out soon. But yeah.
I can't wait till we get to that point
Yeah.
where we find out who you really are.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I support that. It's like it's women's time to be a pedophile.
Exactly.
You know,
if
it's
we're
our
gonna be
turn.
Equals. I want to just be with the best of them.
That's always like there's like right now at any given moment there's 400 male comics on stage going it's not a big deal when a girl fucks a dude, like a kid dude.
Yeah.
Like a little dude kid. Like
I wish my teacher fucked me.
There's 9,000 of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very tired of that premise for sure.
And then the part where they go, I wish my teacher fucked me, but I was homeschooled. I still wish my teacher fucked me.
There's always an incest caveat at the very end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's annoying. It's like how many dudes got to have the same fucking narrative?
I don't know.
Well, Allie's got fuck my dad jokes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I love it.
So you're
fucking your dad or the jokes?
Just the jokes.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm just going through with it. There's something I've always been curious about with like super old guys, like what it would be like to fuck someone in their 50s, or maybe even 60s, like
I
a
went through
hot
that phase
60.
of ladies.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like, I don't know. I feel
You
like
want
they'd be
their
really good
saggy,
lovers.
soft skin
Yeah,
against you?
because I think with like an older man, like they don't have as much energy to fuck for a long time, so they just want to like make love quickly and passionately.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do
guys
it right,
my
efficient.
age,
Yeah,
guys
get in,
my
get
age are
intense,
very,
get out.
Yeah, yeah. Guys my age are very like jackhammer, super like porny sex, where it's like, why are we doing all of this?
Yeah.
I feel like I have to put a tarp down before I have sex with a guy now. So I'm like, what's gonna happen? They like pull out props. I'm like, what are we doing?
Is this a car wash or
there's,
sex? Dude, what's happening
There's
right
like
now?
Get a
no kissing
permit.
at
Yeah.
all. It's just very like, put the tarp down.
You're
Here
just
we
a
go.
mural for the graffiti art he's about to make.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I love your cans.
Yeah.
Little graffiti art
I
puns.
haven't heard that before. I've gotten weird compliments though.
Like what?
Like what?
Well, there's one that like when you said that, there's one that stands out, and I think I used to do a joke about it, but there was this dude who I was like casually hooking up with for a while, and I would be like over complimentary with him, like not that he's ugly or anything, but I'm like a very nice like lover, like I like to be sweet, and so
juice somebody up. If you juice somebody up, they fuck you better.
Yeah, and it's like just more fun because then I'm like pretending that I'm more interested than I am.
Nobody likes a defeated dick. I get it.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're literally always doing that 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Just pretending you're more interested than you really are.
Yeah. That is true. That's an accurate assessment of me.
I've gotten 3 sentences deep into a story to Allie, and I'm like, in my head, I'm going, why am I doing this to her?
My face is just like blank. I'm smiling. I'm like, uh-huh.
This feels wrong. I'm gonna walk away. Who cares? There's no ending.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always just waiting for what the ending is. I'm like, okay.
Or waiting for you to pop up in the story.
Somewhere where I can relate and be like, I actually had a similar thing, and then it's not similar at all.
Yeah, you're like, where's the punchline, or where are you tagging me in the story? Yeah.
I'm like, sorry, does this story have something to do with me?
Let me just stop you right there.
Am I or am I not in this tale? If not, let's change this channel.
Even if I'm not in it, I want you to be like, and then this person that reminds me of you, and then I'm like, oh my god, tell me everything. Are you cool? Yeah. I'm so crazy.
So what was the thing you said? That was
weird.
weird.
I was like casually hooking up with this dude, and like every time we would hook up, I would like be really like, oh, you're so hot, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't say like anything complimentary towards me. Like he wouldn't be like, you're an ugly piece of shit. He just like wouldn't. It like wasn't part of who he was.
Is he just silent?
Not silent. He would just be like, oh yeah, like making noises, but he would never be like, you're so hot. And I feel like that's like what everyone says to everyone when you're boning.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything, so I'm like, hey, could you just say like one nice thing about me?
Yeah.
And
could you just make me feel better about this decision over and over again?
You went into couples therapy.
Just a little bit of positive reinforcement.
Can you just make me feel like I belong here in your studio on your bed that's on the floor?
And he's just chewing blue chews and just jackhammering you. He's got a mouthful of Propecia and blue chew, and he's just fucking railing you.
That he got from a subscription because he heard her on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's probably accurate.
Dead autistic eyes.
He's got those shark eyes while he's just fucking plowing it. So what did he say?
He thought about it for a second while he's inside of me, and he's thinking, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
And he goes, you have the body of an 18th century painting.
He called you
I was
fat.
like, no, I'm like, am I a bowl of
romantic
fruit?
period?
Am I a bowl of fruit?
Yeah.
Like, wow, you have good shadows.
Yeah. There's a lot of texture to you. Yeah.
The brush strokes.
Oh my god.
What an
It
idiot.
was the rudest. He should have just been like, I would rather fuck a dead corpse.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That
That's so
person
rude.
is gay. And
I mean, the
I feel
truth
like
is
you
he's
fuck
not.
you seems like you would be a lot of guys like only girl fuck.
Yeah.
And then they go to guys after.
My prom date was a gay man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had two gay dudes for a prom date. Yeah.
Nice. But
I went with 4 gay guys to prom.
Attaboy. Tyler's like, I went with all of them. We just keep one-upping each other with how many gay guys we've been with.
I actually was gay. Yeah.
Your prom?
Yeah, we all knew. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I hope he fucks me tonight. It was like, we are going to dance to Beyonce and go home separately.
Yeah.
And have a good time.
And he's going to rub his ass on you. He's going to be in front of you twerking on your crotch.
Nice look back, dude. Yeah.
One of those. Prom actually sucks. I don't even remember it, and I don't think I was even drunk at prom. It was just like so unmemorable.
Yeah, it's the worst party you'll go to all year.
Yeah, we had so many fun like house parties and stuff that I remember and that were super fun and crazy. But yeah, prom was a nightmare because there's so many expectations and you're wearing a fucking gown to party.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
the only people who have fun are Hispanic girls who have already had their quinceañera because they know how to move in that
all right?
dress.
I'm right
they already
fucking
have the
here.
gown.
Yeah, you already have the gown. You already know how to dance in that dress. You're like, fuck it.
You guys never booty dance with a petticoat on? Come on, guys. You just pull it up.
Yeah, they already had a sash. That's princess. How do you say princess in Spanish?
Princesa.
There you go. See? You don't even need
I
me.
speak
Allie's got
Spanish
it.
pretty good.
Nice.
Actually, it's not good at all, but I get by.
You know the important words like princess.
I know the important words like when I'm in a kitchen.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
So if I go to Spain, I just have to start hanging out in kitchens.
And they're like, oh, this chick knows her shit.
You probably learned all the wrong words and you just think, you don't know they're insulting you. You're like, can you hand me the fork? And you're like, the fork is the chinga tu madre. That's what we call the fork.
And then they'd be like, oh, she hangs out with a lot of Mexicans because nobody in Spain says that.
Yeah, that's very slang, right?
Yeah.
So you climbed your way. You're no longer a hot wing slinger.
No, I miss those days though.
They weren't even good wings. I think I went to that place once and they weren't good.
It's been 2 weeks.
I know. I always order it online. I miss it so much.
You miss working at a chicken wing place?
Yeah,
What do you miss about it?
I mean, I don't miss I miss yeah, I do miss it.
Yeah?
I miss all of it, yeah.
What do you miss?
I don't know. I mean, I hated working there and like the repetitiveness of it and just having it not be what I wanted to actually do, but I did like that job. Like it was my favorite job that I have had.
Was it because of people you worked with?
No, I hated most of the people that I worked with, except my manager was super cool. His name's Pat, and he was just like the coolest dude. Like I still keep in touch with him. And
did you like having people in line waiting to talk to you?
what do you mean?
Like taking orders as a cashier?
I did it first.
You're like,
yeah.
all these people are waiting to talk to me.
Oh my God, is this a meet and greet? How do you guys know that I was here?
You take a picture of all
Yeah, like
of them as
that.
they order.
Just signing autographs.
Yeah.
No big deal. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll sign your receipt for you. Yeah, no, I liked it. I liked my manager a lot. I liked some of the people who came in. We had like regulars that I really liked, and when it was slow, it was nice because I could like actually talk to the customers. But when it was busy, it was just like shithead kids who like just got off of school.
I'm a big fan of. I've seen you go through several jobs where mostly what it seems like you do is dance in a bathroom.
I danced
to your
at, yeah.
phone.
Yeah, every job.
You did that at the movie theater.
Yeah. When I was working at ArcLight, I did that a lot. I would post so much at work, and I got like customers involved at one point. I think this was like 4 years ago. There was that like Running Man challenge with the song like "At night I think of you," and everyone would do this like dance. And I was at work one day, and I put my phone on the concession stand, and I was in the like kitchen area, and I was doing the dance, and then some customers saw it, and I was like, do you guys want to do it? And so then I just made this entire like compilation of everyone at ArcLight doing this stupid dance.
They're like, Allie,
And I didn't even get
popcorn.
fired from that. Like that wasn't even like I didn't even get a warning for that.
Did
And
you
I-
get fired from that?
Oh yeah. I got fired from every job
For
except
what?
for the wings job.
Oh, you always
The
get
wings
fired.
job I took very seriously. I like put in my 2 weeks notice. I had a letter printed out that I like sent to them being like, thank you
Damn,
so
you
much.
really like this job.
Yeah, I was like, from what I've learned here, I'm going to be able to apply outside of here, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I like
Really?
I like sent out, yeah.
What got into you?
You know
Why?
what happened was, so like every job I had been fired from, or I like quit right before I was
Yeah.
about to get fired
Sure.
because I was like, fuck it, I just want to like do my own thing. And so, and I was just like such a shitty employee all the time, and that's why when I first applied to work at the store like a year and a half ago, when they finally had the position available, I was like, I can't do it because I knew that I would just be such a bad employee, and I didn't want me being a bad employee to affect
Your actual
my
career.
actual comedy.
It helping you. Yeah.
Because like even now there's like, you know, only a few people who work at the store who are really bad employees, and like I look at them so differently because of it. Which is fucked up, but it is annoying. It's like we're here to work, and like it's a cool job to have, so do a good job and the other things will happen for you.
Absolutely. Like if I was somebody who was thinking about taking people out,
You don't want to
on
see the
road,
person who's just sitting there like not
No.
doing their job. You want to see the person who's like hustling.
Yeah. 100%.
So I so anyway, so I got fired from all my jobs, and then when I got the chicken wings job, it was the first time I was like honest with an employer, and I told them what I wanted out of the job instead of just being like, I'll take whatever job I can get, even though it was like I found it on Craigslist. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest at the interview. And so I told him when I started, I was like, hey, if I get this job, I can only work daytime shifts. Like I'm willing to work nights if someone needs coverage last minute and I'm available, but I do stand up at night, and so it's really important to me that I have my nights free to do that. He was like, no worries. And I was like, really?
Yeah. It's great. So you like learn you can just ask for things.
Yeah.
That's
It is weird.
That's incredibly valuable.
So because he like honored that and was understanding, like I pretty much showed up on time every time. There were a couple times, but I would always like hit him up if I knew I was going to be late and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm on my way. Here's my ETA. I would never lie and be like,
I got stabbed.
My wheels fell off of my car. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry, I missed my alarm.
I murdered a small family.
Yeah,
There's no way I could make it in time. Yeah.
I was on Epstein's Island and the train wasn't leaving. So and then like the other cool thing was like, if I would get an audition, it would always be like last minute, so it would be for the next day. And I remember the first time that happened, I was like, I don't want to miss this audition. This is, this could be everything for me, and I need money and blah blah blah. But I was like, you know what, just ask him, and if he says no, then you can maybe reschedule it or figure something out. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this, but I just found out I have an audition tomorrow. I'll only be gone for an hour. If I could find someone to cover my shift, like no one can cover my shift, but like if it's possible to just leave for an hour and come back, whatever. And he was like, yeah, I'll just come cover you for an hour. And he did that so many times where he would come into the shop just for an hour, so I could like leave and go on this audition and come back.
Jesus Christ.
So it really was the people you work with, or the person. It was Pat. Pat was the only reason that
Pat
job
is
was
the
rad.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild, because you would think in LA they'd be real jaded for that.
Well,
Like,
because
I don't know. I think they know better. They know that that's
What else?
legit.
I think so too, because he used to be like, he still performs music and stuff, but like he was in a band when he was younger, and so I think he just like understood, and he saw that I like, was really doing the thing, and I wasn't like, I'm an artist, I was just like, I really want to do this. And so I think he was like, and because I was being a good employee for the first time, there was no reason for him not to like help me out, because I was helping him out a lot. Because that's a very easy job for him to hire people who just don't care, because they think like, it's just a fucking chicken wings job, whatever, I can
fuck
slack
it,
off.
I have a bigger calling.
Yeah.
It is crazy. This town is full of people who are not doing the thing that they tell everybody they do.
Yeah, there were so many people who got hired during the time that I was there that I didn't ask if I could jewel in here.
Yeah, you didn't.
Can I? What if you said no? Can I?
I don't, but it's okay.
Okay. I'll keep it down to a minimum.
Yeah.
A 2 puff minimum. 2 jewel minimum. Yeah, so he like hired a bunch of people who were like, yeah, I do comedy. And I'm like, I've never seen you in my life. Like, I know for sure you don't do comedy just because you've done one open mic. Yeah, it was an interesting job.
Everybody moved here to cater.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
This is the best. This is the most talented catering city in all of the
catering
U.S.
industry capital of the world.
Yeah. Food service, catering. I feel like everyone had a job at ArcLight at one point. I've met so many people who've worked at a movie theater.
Yeah. I worked at a movie theater when I was in high school, and I boxed the security guard in the back parking lot.
Oh.
No,
like
no, I didn't box.
Together,
Sorry. No. That story is about my friend Anthony, who boxed a guy. And the guy, I was there, and the security guard took off his shirt, and he had herbivore tattooed on his back. He was like a big, muscular vegetarian.
Did he beat him up?
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him.
Anthony got
his shit beat.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you got your ass beat by a guy with herbivore tapped on your back.
No, you're right. Yeah. But he was a jacked fucking vegan.
That's crazy.
He's a massive vegan. I mean, there's UFC fighters who are vegan. That's like
sure.
Yeah, and
that's still funny.
Beat. Yeah,
to get beat by a man who don't eat meat.
It's funny because like I was thinking about that story, and I actually got my ass beat by like a kid younger than, not a security guard with a massive, but I boxed in the back there, and my friend Johnny one punch and my jaw was shut for 3 straight days.
Really?
I like couldn't tell.
Oh my God.
For like 3 days.
That's like
wow.
It's crazy when you watch like the UFC or something, and you see someone get knocked out and their body just like
stiffs.
Yeah.
It just
like
seize up.
Yeah, they're like, it's so crazy.
Oh yeah, you were ringside for that flying knee.
Yeah.
You were ringside.
And he was on the floor, just like one leg up, and I was like, oh my, what is happening?
Wait, did you guys see each other there? Yeah, Tyler and Allie were ringside for that UFC fight.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
That game changed my life.
You do jujitsu now.
I do jujitsu now, yeah. And I'm boxing.
Because you're like, I want to make
casually.
somebody seize up like that.
No, I think it's because I'm scared of fighting.
I almost made a meme out of you, where you posted a picture of you doing jiu-jitsu, and I was gonna write "hangs out with Joe Rogan once." But then like I realized that A, it's not that funny, and B, there'd probably be a lot of people like, this fucking bitch doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu. This fucking whore. Like I imagine there's like guys who so badly want to just touch
They
his
want a
head.
beer. Yeah, they want a beer.
Yeah, they're so jealous.
You talk to Joe Rogan, you don't fucking deserve it, Ollie.
I speak Japanese.
We saw that one time at the Ice House, Mike. Remember the crazy dude that came in? And
the Japanese guy.
Yeah, and all he did was talk about how he was going to make Joe Rogan proud with his set, and he lifted up his shirt, and he was like, look how fucking shredded I am. And I was just like,
That
Joe's not
scares
here,
me.
honey.
Yeah.
He's not here. You're not going to get the attaboy from your dad that you want.
No.
So
well,
bad.
that was the other crazy thing about the UFC is like, well, so we walked into, I think the weigh-ins, Damon weigh-ins.
Oh, I think meant the
We
weigh.
walked-
Oh, it was the weigh.
Yeah, we walked into the weigh-ins.
when they were weighing in.
Yeah,
12 black guys.
in white face. So we walked into the weigh-ins and it's at the T-Mobile Arena, and everyone's like, Joe, what's up, Joe? And I was like, I turned to Ian Edwards, and I was like, oh my God, Joe's like a celebrity here. And then I was like, oh wait, he's
like
just
a celebrity.
He's just a
Celebrity everywhere.
Yeah. But it was like such a different light to see him in, because I'm
Used to seeing him at the store when he's like a person. He's
and
just
most people
Joe.
are
green
used to
rooms.
seeing him at the
Yeah.
store, so it's not weird to like everyone talks to him the same way I do, unless they're like a fan, and I'm like, okay, we're at the store, that makes sense. But then seeing it there, I was like, oh my God, I was like, Joe, whoa, okay, Joe,
Look who's having
Yeah,
a good
like,
night.
okay, Mr. Popular, and where was I going with this? Oh, so then that was the craziest part of it. It's like
Mr. Popular.
Mr. Popular.
Ooh, who's got a podcast?
Yeah.
Somebody's listening to you. Several million
I love the
downloads an
idea
episode.
of Joe like 10 years ago, just with friends being like, I think I'm going to start a podcast. And they're like, okay.
What's a
Where are you
fucking
going to do it
podcast,
from?
Joe?
Yeah. What's your angle?
Now he's gonna be like doing the presidential debates.
No. That'd be crazy. But then the next night when it was the actual fights, it was the strangest thing of my life, because all these like jacked fighters who are literally about to go into this ring and either get their ass kicked or kick
some
someone else's
motherfucking ass. Yeah.
Either way, it's impressive, you know? All of them, when they step into the ring, they do their little thing, and then they always look for where Joe's sitting, and they're like look at him, and they're like, I'm gonna do this, you just watch me, like everyone's trying to like prove like.
Because
Get
he's the mega voice.
Yeah, and then after they win, they're like, see what I did? Like, they just want
His approval?
his approval. They just want
because he's the voice of UFC.
Right.
So if you get him to
Hey,
like
hey,
you, he's gonna
fucking-
be on mic saying
yeah.
good things about you. Like, and
But
then
it's
you're a
just
fan
so
favorite.
Do they do that
crazy
in other
that, like-
sports? Do they do that? They don't do that in fucking basketball or
Well,
baseball.
Team sports are a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but UFC is a celebrity driven thing too. Like
Yeah.
if you're really
Halle Berry was there that night.
really, was she looking good?
She's
She
hot
was
in person.
So hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's the type of person who looks the same like in person as they do
I like-
online or in movies. Like you're not like, oh, you look a little bit off, or like even hotter. Like she's just hot all the time.
I like how it took like VIP passes to a UFC fight for you to figure out that Joe Rogan's famous and Halle Berry is hot.
Two things I learned from the UFC fight. Neither one has to do with the fight themselves, but Joe Rogan is famous, and goddamn, Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Inalienable truths.
Yeah, and then it was funny because like people kept screenshotting my face when the fight would like get close to where I was sitting, and I was just so shocked at everything happening.
Did you yell at all? Like,
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, people
entire
get
time my
killed
face
in
was
front
like,
of you.
it's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. Even if I'm just seeing it, like when the guys watch clips and shit like that, I'm always covering my face and gasping. Like it's still always like so ridiculously intense.
And I've watched it on TV and stuff. You know, people have parties, and I'm kind of watching and just being like, "What does this mean? What do, how do you hold a fist?" Just being
Yeah.
like,
Cute.
playing in,
Yeah.
playing into it. I just need guys' attention at a party, okay? Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's a fight.
Are you
and-
gonna hit each other
Yeah.
for real?
Do you think they're hurt? Oh no.
Oh, that shit drives me crazy. that like
The
that.
voice or the questions?
No, that kind of girl
Both.
who dumbs herself down for attention.
Yeah.
Woo, that makes
I've
me,
seen that so much for the
It does
NFL
not
my whole
work.
life.
Does not
So much for the
fucking work.
NFL.
Yeah. I was so annoyed at girls in like middle school who would do that stuff and it worked, and I was just like, I don't want to have to be dumb to be liked, but every once in a while I'd try it out and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is
That just
painful.
shows you how dumb dudes are all the time because
Yeah.
it always works.
Yeah.
I had a friend and she was already
Not
like
always.
hot. She was always hot, so
That's
she
how
never
it
really
is.
needed the attention. But she would always just be like, I don't understand how things work,
Yeah.
and I was like, are you fucking kidding
Yeah.
me right now? I was like, who are you? I would call her out on it too. I
Yeah.
go, hey, who are you being right now? Why? I was like, why are you pretending to be dumb? Like I
Yeah.
would call her
Yeah.
out on it.
And every guy's just like, you're when you start yelling. Well, now nobody's having fun.
Yeah.
There's
So
nothing
I've,
sexier than a retarded girl. I'll tell you that right now. The dumber, the wetter.
Because then she won't know how inferior I am.
No, it is. It always comes from insecurity. Like,
on both parts.
it was specific. Yeah, well, I was thinking with the dude's perspective, where it's like you need to protect the ego to make them feel smart by
Yeah.
being dumber. It's like, let me explain this to you, toots.
Yeah.
You know, because deep down I'm terrified that I'm
Well, that's
a
the thing
moron.
that's one thing that annoys
Well,
me
you
is
are.
like so many people.
I'm not terrified. I'm embraced. I'm trying to monetize how stupid I am.
So many people complain about mansplaining, but I've seen so many women fucking feed into that shit. So many to just bat their eyes like, oh, what? How does it work?
Also,
you know what I
it's
mean?
just like it's explaining.
It's explaining.
It's
It's
explaining. Just
bothers
because
me.
a dude does it doesn't mean it's mansplaining. There's certain times where I'm like, oh, this is what mansplaining is, but that's
when they're
like,
being condescending. The difference is
Yeah.
when somebody's being condescending.
Yeah.
But if
you're
you
like,
work in a hardware store and you're like explaining to the lady how to use the tool, it's like, well, I've been doing this for
Yeah.
years and everybody asked me, so I'm going to go right into the spiel. And it's man at the hardware store today, man, explain to me how a drill works. It's like, well, you don't assume people know stuff.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane. That's
I
a
know
crazy way to
nothing.
live.
yeah, but like for instance, like one time I was taking the trash out at the Comedy Store and somebody came up to me and tried to tell
I
me
picture
how to
that
take the
meeting
trash.
like asking like fucking Mark Stevens to leave. Taking the
what?
trash out at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, I was getting rid of the riffraff, and then a dude came up to me. He's like, "That's not how you do it."
Wait, how are you taking the trash out to where he thought, oh, I should show her how to take it? Like, there's one
That's
way
what I'm
of
saying.
taking. Yeah.
That's what I was like. And
What
I
was
stopped.
his-
And I stopped. And I go, "Hey, I'm not fucking retarded. I know how to take out the
Yeah.
trash."
Actually, I've had several employees who were retarded alongside me at grocery stores, and they knew how to
They knew
take
how
out
to
the
take out
trash.
the trash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I always get flustered in those scenarios, and I never know what to say. I always get man, I'm not going to remember what it was, but there was some situation where I felt like I needed to what was it? Like just some sort of like confrontation where I like knew I needed to stand up for myself, but I was like so just like angry about whatever it was that I couldn't even form.
Well, there was also a
words.
time when like a dude was being fucking weird to you, and then I started being real loud
Yeah,
about him
yeah.
being, and then you're like, no.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
don't want him to know that I hate that he's around me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? How? Then he's not gonna leave. And I'm like, this fucking prick needs to get the fuck out of here
Yeah.
because he's making everyone around him uncomfortable. And I didn't like single you out, but then he eventually left.
Yeah, because I left. Yeah, I got a phone. I had Steve Fury walk me to my car, and then Steve calls me like 2 minutes later. He was like, "Did you leave?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay," because that guy was just walking that way.
Oh, the weird guy.
Yeah.
See, it's interesting though with the speaking up stuff you're talking about, because that's got to be one of the things like growing up in a comedy scene. Like you're gonna have this coming out party where you're like a mature
I'm gay.
adult.
Oh.
Yeah, well, no, we all know that. But like you're gonna get all these people who knew you and you were really young are gonna keep treating you that way until
yeah,
you
which-
know.
'cause
And you're
you're-
a fucking
'cause you're the
adult now
memory
who's doing
age.
Yeah.
arena spots and shit. But like they've all these comics have been around you since you were 17 years
Yeah.
old. That's
what
gotta
I'm saying.
be-
It's your memory age, like how you always think of your parents at a particular age and they never get
Yeah.
older than that.
Yeah.
That's the same kind
Or
of
how
thing.
I'm like the baby of my family. Like I have 2 older sisters,
Yeah.
so they always see
So
me
it's
as
gonna
the
be your
baby.
dynamic
Yeah.
everywhere
But you
you
know
go.
what? I don't mind that because I'd rather have people
Underestimate
yeah.
you?
kind of
Yeah.
not underestimate me, but just kind of like I would prefer people to like mansplain things to me, just so, because I really not unsolicited, but like from people who I've known for a long time.
Yeah, who you trust.
Who I trust, when they like give me advice or feedback, maybe because they do think of me still as that like 18-year-old open micer. Like I appreciate that, because I'd rather have people constantly trying
give you more
to
information,
give me advice or help me out with things, than someone being like, you old hag.
Right.
You got this. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I'd
I remember
that.
on your birthday, I was like, "There's a time where potential is over, and now it's deliver."
I know, it's true.
I was just kidding, and it clearly hit the nail on the head.
I think about it often.
I was
birthday's
fucking
coming
kidding.
up next month, and it's been in my head since
you said it. Yeah.
Ever since you said it, I was like, oh yeah, that's so true.
You're doing fine, Allie.
No.
You're doing fine.
No, I know.
Don't give her the old hag line. She just said she didn't want to hear that.
It is true though, because like when you're young and doing comedy,
It's impressive that you could get a
it's
sentence
like, oh
out.
my god, you don't have a curfew, you're allowed to be here, and it's like, yeah, I'm a big girl and I tell big girl jokes. And then the older I get, everyone's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm still kind of young. I still need some help.
I don't have it all under the control. I swear.
Yeah.
I swear I don't have it all figured out.
Will you change my diaper?
She's only wearing a diaper at the time.
Will you change it? Yeah.
At the Comedy Store, 9 guys would be like,
Yeah.
please, please, can I just use my berry?
I guess we should have clarified for some of the listeners that don't know, is you work at the Comedy Store with
The
me.
third female door guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In history.
In history. 3 is my favorite number.
Oh, nice. Primo, baby.
I met Peter Shore last week.
Who's that?
He's the guy. He's Pauly Shore's brother, Mitzi Shore's son. Shore
Is he
family.
like Pauly Shore?
He's like, I'm pretty sure, no, he's very different. He's more businessy. He's like the guy who pretty much like runs the Comedy Store now, I think.
Because there's another Shore that comes that's kind of not... he's dumb, is what I mean.
Really?
Yeah, he's like a dumb and annoying. And whenever he's there, everybody's like, oh, fucking this guy. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them, but I met him, and I'm pretty sure he's like still in charge of the store. I don't know, but he was like talking to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I work at the store, so I do that, and then do all my other stuff. And he was like, oh cool, so you're like performing there? And I was like, yeah, I get to perform on Mondays, and then just whenever I get other spots there.
Yeah.
And he just kept asking questions as if I was a paid regular. And I was like, oh, no. Like, I clock in and I clock out.
I work
take
for
out
you,
the
sir.
trash,
Hi,
I check
I'm an
the
employee of
IDs.
yours. Technically.
He was like, I don't remember signing up any of your checks. I was like, okay, well, I do. So
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
That's cool. That's weird that Pauly Shore would have like a straight-laced brother. Like, I can't picture that.
Also, good to know you don't have your finger on the pulse of the business that's making you a fuck
he was
ton
like
of
a
money.
VH1 VJ, and Pauly was like the MTV VJ. Up next, we have Foreigner.
Yeah.
I remember Pauly Shore being famous.
I don't.
I know
I do.
you don't.
Yeah.
I
I remember he was a guest on Kill Tony, and in the interview they were like, so like Encino Man or anything? And I was like, what?
Like, I've been to Encino.
Yeah. I was like, it's a nice
You're like, is that an
area.
influencer I don't know about? Who's Encino, man?
Yeah, I remember being famous. I remember having a moment where I was looking at him and I was like, oh, this sucks. It was like, he was like a really revealing point where I was like, oh, not all comedy's funny. Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah,
I was
I
like
don't even really
watching
know
In the
his
Army
comedy.
Now. I think I was watching In the Army Now, and it was the first time I realized that some comedy isn't funny, because when you're a kid, you laugh at everything.
Yeah, that's like not even that long ago. I was rewatching The Hangover.
It's not funny?
It's not that funny.
I just remember laughing at Zach Galifianakis saying retard.
Retard, yeah. He's a retard, yeah.
That's all I
I think
remember.
that's the thing that you think is so funny out of that entire
and
film.
the Asian guy popping out of the
Yeah.
trunk.
Yeah.
That was funny too.
I remember my like Facebook memories, like on this day, you know, however many years ago, it'll just always be quotes from The Hangover. It'll be like, tigers hate pepper, they love cinnamon, and I'm like, I gotta post that on Facebook. That is a
And
good
now you're
one.
like, wasn't that good?
Yeah, I'm like, what does that even mean?
Was that Bobby Lee?
No, it was Ken Jeong.
What? Come on,
Jesus.
Brian. Jesus
Shorter
Christ.
arms.
Yeah, smaller frame.
Yeah. I get Kim Jong. Ken Jong Un.
I get him and Bobby Lee mixed up. I don't know why.
I get Bobby Lee, Kim Jong Un, and Ken Jong mixed up. I don't know what the common thing is.
You're a retard.
I thought that was Bobby Lee.
Yeah, no.
You know a movie I haven't watched in a long time, but it's one of my favorites, and I'm curious. I think I'd still think it's the funniest movie, Borat.
Oh, I just watched it.
Yeah, it's still
holds
good.
up.
good.
It's still great.
Because
I
it's
forgot
so
Lunel was in
outlandish.
that.
Oh, she is?
The black
Yeah.
hooker, that's Lunel.
Yep.
And I didn't know who Lunel was when I saw it.
Yeah.
Now I love Lunel.
She's
For real?
great.
She's the best. I didn't know who Lunel was in high school.
I
Where
just
would
figured
I-
you like black comics so much. I figured you would have heard about Lunel.
She didn't get on my
Wow.
radar at all. No.
Yeah, she's fucking hilarious,
yeah,
dude.
No, she's
Yeah.
the best. But yeah, Borat holds up perfectly.
Yeah, Borat's one of my favorite
All of
movies.
his movies hold up.
I didn't like Bruno. I don't even think I finished it.
I did. Yeah, I
thought
didn't
it was
make it.
so
I think I made
boring.
it a quarter in.
He almost
Yeah.
got
And
then
murdered
I was
in that
over it.
movie. They had to sneak him in an underground tunnel because everybody,
my God.
when he was being gay in Alabama, they literally were trying to kill him.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Did you hear that he just came out and said that he mildly
gay.
uncovered a pedophilia ring in Las Vegas during the shooting of Who is America? And they decided that it was too dark and too extreme, so he submitted all the footage to the FBI.
Holy
What?
shit!
Yeah, this just came out like a couple days ago. Well, that news? Well, they're talking about it again, I guess, because of Epstein.
Epstein.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it came up again because Sacha Baron Cohen's like, I've been trying to tell you guys about these rings, and So apparently, in Who's America, they had a scene where he was talking to a concierge at a fancy hotel about trying to get a boy, and the guy was like, I know a guy who can get you, because he said, I want somebody younger than bar mitzvah and older than 8.
Oh
And he
my
was
god!
like, I can make that happen. And then also he found a guy who said he knew a lawyer who could silence children. Because he was
Oh my
saying,
God.
because Sacha Baron Cohen was like, I got this kid who's like, yeah, you know, and he's like, I know a lawyer who could silence this. And then they were like editing, and they all had this moment of consciousness where they were
That's
like,
crazy.
this is too fucking dark.
Yeah. That's
What
crazy.
the fuck, dude? And nothing's been done about it?
Well, I don't know. The story doesn't say what the FBI did with the
Well,
information.
don't you think the FBI is involved
Yeah.
in that stuff?
I wonder about the
I've become a conspiracy theorist as of
Oh, I'm right
lately.
here with you.
I'm Eddie Bravo Jr. I started taking jujitsu.
Here's the thing, though.
Sam Tripoli's your new best friend.
Yeah.
I think the FBI more or less is in these things, but Trump has been shitting on the FBI so much, and he created so much animosity with the FBI, and Trump's relationship with Epstein makes me think that the FBI might take this one case seriously just to shove it up Trump's ass.
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah,
everything
for
is all
spite.
vendetta driven.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping.
Isn't it funny, like, busting a pedophilia ring is being passive aggressive? Isn't that ridiculous? It's so ridiculous to
yeah,
me.
or the idea that you'll only take it seriously if it makes somebody you don't like get in trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You want to
We're
shit on the
only gonna
FBI?
take down the pedophiles because we don't. Why didn't you invite us to your birthday? We're gonna take your boys away now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck coming now, you billionaires.
Yeah, it's the way everybody did on Twitter. They just pick and chose who was involved with Epstein because of their parties. So, like on the right, everybody's like the Clintons, the Clintons, the Clintons. Everybody on the
feel
left's
like-
like Trump, Trump, Trump.
I'm not trying to be like a, middle of the road, safe space person, but I feel like it's all of them.
You're not.
Everyone's
You're not
involved.
being middle of the road
That's
at
not
all.
no,
You're
that's
being
just
right.
actual.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
just,
like,
yeah,
it's
that's
fair
right.
to everyone. Everyone's involved. It's not like a Democrat-Republican thing. It's
No,
a
it's
rich
power.
person thing.
Yeah.
It's a powerful billionaire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But nobody wants to believe that their team is dirty.
I'm like, no, they all conspired together to make sure that this was taken care of.
Yeah. What's your theory? What's your take? How do you think he went down? You've been waiting for this question.
I know. There's so many conspiracies I've gotten into lately.
Mm-hmm.
Was Hurricane Katrina a real hurricane? That's all I'm saying.
Are you reading about HARP?
Yeah.
I was having a conversation.
And I think this is crazy. I think the earthquakes we had recently, the big ones, were all man-made.
From fracking?
I don't know. No. Maybe, but...
How dare you
How do you
just
think
raise your eyebrow at me like that was insane? Fracking?
Are you kidding me?
You're like, I love fracking.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You keep
it's
fracking's
funny.
name out of your mouth.
It's funny to be like, fracking's not real.
Like fracking definitely probably I'm gonna run for president with my vocabulary. Fracking definitely
contributes to
earthquakes, but
Yeah.
I think that the recent crazy big ones we had, there were like, you saw the map of all the earthquakes that were happening. It's like, oh, those are all
It was in the shape of a pentagram.
No, it was come on, it was a Star of David. We know it was.
but I'm like,
One extra point. I didn't see that one.
I'm like, that has to be not natural.
The shape of the
Not
earthquakes?
natural.
Do you-
Just there were too many. I'm like, maybe some of them were a result of the man-made earthquakes.
What about Elon Musk boring out below LA? Do you think he's doing some evil genius earthquake
Probably.
shit with the boring company?
I don't know much about that, but probably.
Yeah, okay.
Aliens are real.
We could go
Area
down a
51
road if
is
you guys
real,
want.
UFOs are real. But yeah. So the man.
I'm realizing you're just getting into it.
Yeah, I just started.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
getting
take it
fired
easy.
up.
I
But
feel
the
like you
Earth is
were where
round.
I was when I watched Zeitgeist for the first time.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any like conspiracy programming, so I need to get on that.
Yeah.
This
but-
was like the first 9/11 was an inside job thing that ever
okay.
That was the
happened.
second one, Loose Change. Zeitgeist was a sequel to Loose Change, and I watched.
for real?
And I remember watching Loose Change on an airplane. Like
What?
Like American Airlines had Loose Change. The 9/11 conspiracy movie was on an airplane. And first of all, full of lies, full of complete. It was
Really?
just like basically it was secretly like that was where the whole globalist means Jews thing started with a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff. So it's just this big anti-Semitic production, but also like on an
I
airplane.
mean, think of the title of the movie. It's clear that it's an anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
yeah. Loose Change.
Loose change. Yeah.
I think Epstein is alive and well.
That's what you think?
I think he's alive. Yeah, I don't think he's dead.
I think he killed himself.
I think he's in Israel.
I know. I think it was murder. Do you
I
think,
think he killed himself.
Ooh, we all have different opinions.
Why do you think he
What I think is that I think he knew his life was over. This is a decadent man who was doing whatever he wanted all the time, and he knew the jig was up. And I know that the people who names he could have showed.
don't they still get possession of the ledger?
Well, what I'm saying is that he had a lot of information, but I think he wanted to kill himself, and I think that he knew the jig was up and that his paradise was over. And I think those people were like, just leave him alone, take him off suicide watch, and let him kill himself. That's what I think happened, because I think I think that first suicide attempt was real, and it fucked up.
Yeah, I do think that first suicide attempt.
And so I think they were like, just let him kill himself. That'll solve all our problems. So why don't you take a break? Did you hear? This is a true story.
Okay.
Did you hear?
Wait, is
So-
it like true or is it like truth,
No, this
man?
is well, okay. This is in every reputable publication. I don't know if it's true. Depends on what you think about that truth.
Right.
But this jail guard, who was not a real prison guard,
His name was
at
Tim Dillon.
MMC, he walks into the prison and he relieves the other prison guard. And the prison guard's like, "Who are you?" And the guy's like, "My name's Steve." And that's all he says. The guy's like, "Steve who?" And he goes, "Steve," and then he looks around
Buscemi.
and goes, "Jail." This is true.
This is literally a Disney Channel
He looked around and goes,
episode I saw.
"Jail. My name's Steve
That's
Jail."
like in movies when they're like,
Yeah,
when
it's
they-
fucking.
when
Dude,
they're
this is
like-
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah,
That's
when
how
they're
Miss
like,
Doubtfire got her name.
Fan light.
Yeah.
Fan light, Mike.
My name's Steve Alley.
Yeah.
Yeah. He literally said, "My name's Steve Jail," and the other guy was so overworked and everything. He was like, "Whatever, I'm gonna go eat my sandwich on my, whatever." And then boom, cameras break. Nobody checks on him.
Steve Jail.
That is a great question. It could have been anybody. because he had dirt on everybody. I think there's a little too much focus on the Clintons.
Yeah.
I mean, the Clintons do have.
I mean, they were a part of it for sure.
They absolutely were. They've had 10 bodyguards commit suicide. Did you know that?
What?
The Clintons have had 10 bodyguards commit suicide.
So pretty much what you're saying is if you spend enough time with the Clintons, you will be on suicide watch or kill yourself.
Yeah. Hanging out with
Okay, so maybe your theory does check out.
Yeah.
Maybe he was like, I just don't want to see the Clintons again.
I just don't want Hillary to fucking bitch at me anymore.
Yeah.
That bitch
Yeah.
won't stop nagging. Because there was like somebody wrote a book about, and it was like about the White House staff, about how she was like one of the worst people to ever work for.
Yeah.
That she was like insane to work for. What was the name? Secret Service?
Secret Service.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the head of her Secret Service. But she, the way he said she was a bitch, like, made me like her. It reminded me of Veep. Like, she was just like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I was like, she sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's such a great show. Such a
If
good
you're not
show.
working for her, if you're watching from the outside.
Yeah.
And then what do you think?
I mean, I think he got whacked. I don't think because that's the other thing too, is what happens to the ledger. Is that still going to go public?
The Black Book?
Yeah.
I mean, parts of the Black Book were released before he was even dead. That's how we all knew the Clintons were on there, was because they had signed into Ledger.
But we knew about the Clintons before that fucking
But I mean,
ledger.
there were screenshots of the Ledger that are released. Yeah.
So that nothing happens to anybody else in the ledger? It's just the Clintons and
nothing's
Trump?
happen. Nobody's going down.
I feel like this is kind of like what happened with Louis, where it's like everyone, like even me, like when I first
We all
started
knew.
doing open mic, we all kind of knew. And
Yeah.
then when it came out, we were all like, whoa, we should do something.
Except-
and then Epstein's going to come back alive and apologize and be like, sorry about my cock and those kids.
Yeah. The thing is, though,
He's going to write a poorly worded apology letter.
Yeah, in his iPhone notes.
the difference between Epstein and Louis is that women on Twitter cared about Louis. And they don't give a shit about a pedophilia ring.
Yeah.
They're like,
They still care.
There
They
was
still
so
care.
many like over it jokes girls were making, like, oh my god, every guy is just ear beating his girlfriend with Epstein, and it's like, really, you're over this child sex trafficking ring? That's boring.
Meanwhile,
to you?
you've been ear beating my fucking my
'Cause I
ears
got
about
jerked
Louis
off?
for fucking 3 years now.
It's so
Jesus.
insane to eye roll. They're like, over it. Like, it's a pedophile ring.
Yeah,
What do
it's
you-
so crazy.
It's a pedophile ring that's been going on for decades
And
with
the
an
thing-
S on it.
And the thing is, like the Sacha Baron Cohen thing, that's not just because we know about that one. That only means there's so
many more.
many
There's this other one called the
ones.
Catholic Church. That's a really
That's a
big
good one,
one.
yeah.
I roll. Oh,
They
another
don't necessarily
Catholic
have
choke
private
pedophile
jets,
joke.
but they do have other branches. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily an island. It's more like Boston.
If I was,
Just different boroughs in Boston.
I was talking to this guy about, and he was going on. He's like, "It's Weinstein, it's Epstein. Like, why are all these sex criminals Jewish or whatever?" And I was like, "What about the entire Catholic Church?
Yeah.
Like,
Come on, dude.
Let's
Yeah.
not forget it. There's a billion Catholics.
You just named 2 Jews.
I think his list was longer. Woody Allen was on there.
Yeah.
There's another one. Can't remember. Who cares?
I think he's. But I'm saying, I think he's
Cuba
just
Gooding
picking out the
Jr.?
Jews.
Yep.
I love that.
Cuba Gooding Jr. was a good one.
I love that. It's so
Wait, what?
funny. Cuba Gooding Jr.
He got arrested.
For banging a kid?
funny.
No,
He was
for
part of-
sexual harassment on.
Was he not part of the pedophile ring?
No, I think he was.
I might be getting stories mixed
No,
up.
Chris Tucker.
Oh, Chris Tucker.
But it's not-
I was still thinking Cuba.
It's not the real Chris Tucker.
You just did
It's
what
a
he
white
did.
guy named
No.
Chris Tucker. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's funny is
We were doing it on the podcast the whole time. We were doing like, I said never touch a black man's boy. And we were doing all that shit. And then I found out later it's just a white guy with the same name.
But I
Man,
love
that's
that you
gonna be
just
her-
did Cuba Gooding Jr. and Chris Tucker. What he did is Kim Jong Un
and Bobby Lee. But what did Cuba get? Because
Some sexual harassment thing.
Oh, I thought it was part of that whole thing.
No, I love that. I would love that.
That's what I thought was so
Show me
funny.
the kids.
Idea that like
Show
Epstein,
me the children.
Epstein's just hanging out with Cuba.
Yeah.
I love that image.
Just the whole crew he's
Yeah,
kicking
I'm like,
it
what do they
with.
talk about on the flight? It's kind of like when I go on the road with Joe and people are like, what do you guys talk about? That's how I picture it being, like Epstein in Cuba. I'm like, what's it like up there?
In this analogy,
Do you guys,
Joe
like,
Rogan is
hang out
Jeffrey
a lot?
Epstein. by the way.
a billionaire.
A billionaire
I'm the
pedophile.
child, though.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I'm on the island, just like, save
You're
me.
on the plane. You're like, actually, it's
Yeah.
Cuba.
Oh, God.
I love it though. I was talking to a friend on the phone, and we're like, the world finally cares about what we've. It was Ben Avery. Nobody knows who Ben Avery is, but you guys
Thank
do.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But we were on the phone, and like the whole world cares about what we've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird when like your interests become national interests
Yeah.
because you're like, finally,
Yeah.
like we can talk about.
But it's always short-lived.
I know.
If all of Twitter is already eye rolling, you know what I mean? Like, these poor fucking
Did you see the vandalism?
raped children aren't getting enough limelight. What?
No, they'll be fine. The vandalism of Epstein's properties with. Do you know who Sam Hyde is?
Why does that
Oh,
sound
yeah.
familiar?
$1 Million Extreme.
Yeah,
He's
I know
a-
who Sam
he's a
Hyde is.
He's got a massive online following. He's a little bit of a neo-Nazi, but he's very
little
funny.
He's like,
We
neo,
don't-
neo,
just like
neo,
a
neo,
dollop.
neo,
Just like a
Nazi.
dollop. Like
Here's
this
what I
much.
call-
He's like this much.
It's like, it's cute how much he hates
I
Jews.
call him a micro-Nazi.
It's precious.
Yeah, he's like
He's a precious Nazi.
He's very, very funny, but he's behind like a paywall, like because all his content is behind a paywall, but he's been kicked off every paywall company. Now he's with some weird one. But anyway,
Paywall.
like
where you have to pay to see his content.
Patreon would be a paywall, but
okay.
Patreon won't let him.
Because he's a woo baby Nazi.
Yeah.
He's a Nazi Watsy. Yes, he
But
is.
he offered $1,000 to anybody who had the best tag of his handle, his Instagram handle. And two people did. One did Epstein's house in New York, and one did his gate in Palm Beach. And
Oh,
the one
wow.
who did it in New York was Banksy. And
No way.
Okay.
And
How
Banksy,
do you know it was Banksy?
because
Exactly.
he shared all the DMs because Banksy is trying to get Sam to not. He's like, you should rethink. There's this whole thing going on because Banksy respects Sam's work, and so he's trying to get him off of being a neo-Nazi because he's like, this isn't what you're about, man. Like, you're a better person than this. And so he did that stunt to try to bring Sam Hyde back off of neo-Nazi land. The world is insane
What
right
is
now.
happening?
There's like literally, I
I'm
forgot
just
Banksy
gonna
was even a
stop
thing.
brushing my teeth.
That's your first
over
go-to.
it. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. Take them. If the world continues, I'll get dentures.
I know, but like it's just like what a wonderful world where a famous political activist is trying to bring a neo-Nazi to
That's crazy.
light by spray painting a
Oh my
pedophile
God.
billionaire's door. What is
Where do
this
you get
world?
this news?
I don't know. I consume so much.
Yeah.
I think all this stuff was. I think I got this stuff from Sam Hyde posting. Anyway, Sam Hyde's a great troll. He put a R.I.P. Epstein Photoshop on an Obama shirt. Obama was walking around in a blank shirt, and he changed the shirt to it, and then it
no.
went viral, and TMZ covered it.
Whoa.
And it's just so everybody's so
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah. Oh, I love it.
They're just like, oh, no fucking way. And it's like,
I knew
there
it.
is no way. There is no way, you
How
psychos.
clean are his hands right now? Like
yeah, dude.
Obama,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not coming
He's
up in any of this.
stoked.
His
Yeah.
billionaire is Richard Branson, so look out for Richard Branson.
Richard. I love Obama.
Because they all have billionaires that they hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, who
Yeah.
else are you
Yeah,
gonna hang out
whoever
with?
paid you off.
Yeah, everybody
Whichever
else
one.
is disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I only want to be with billionaires.
yeah, yeah. Have you seen the show Doomsday Preppers?
Yes.
No, but I went to high school in Georgia.
Okay, so you knew that.
So I'm already
He's
caught
lived
up.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I started watching it like not even that long ago, and I was like, these people are crazy. And now I'm like, I need a bunker.
That's how they recruit.
Like I
that
was
show is to
driving-
recruit.
Yeah, I was driving up here to Altadena, which is only like 40 minutes away, but I'm like, oh, that's a nice piece of property, kind of hidden behind some trees.
Is there water
Far
on this
away.
property?
Yeah, I'm like, how much water can I get up here?
Yeah.
We're
I've
pretty
always-
close to a waterfall, so.
I've always wanted to live like in a hill, like a Hobbit house. You know what I mean? Where you like open the door, but you're completely
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
bunker
yeah.
hill
Yeah.
thing. That seems so nice.
I want a bunker for sure.
I want a fucking
want a bunker.
What a
dude.
bunker, dude.
a
Hell yeah. We're living the earth, dude. Back to nature.
Yeah.
Imagine getting your dick sucked in a bunker.
Imagine you're in your bunker,
Get
you're with your
blown,
chick,
dude. Yeah.
the world is exploding around you, you know you're good, you got water for 2 more years, you got food supplies for the next 5 years. You're just getting your dick sucked. fucked.
Dude, get my bunker dick sucking is
Yeah.
the best kind
Yeah.
of dick sucking.
Everybody
dude.
likes to get blown in a bunker, dude. It's
Dude,
fucking safe.
It's like real air
It's
conditioning.
the safest cum you'll ever have.
It's sustainable.
Yeah.
It's a sustainable food source.
A girl swallows because she's worried about running out of resources. It's so fucking
Plus
tight.
She
bonus
always-
protein, dude. Bonus protein.
She always saves half for me.
Little tiny spoon.
A demi-tasse of cum. Brian taught me what demi-tasse means.
What is that?
It's just the little spoon that they give you with an espresso.
Oh, yeah.
A little shovel-looking spoon,
Mm-hmm.
tiny, flat
Yeah.
front.
Just enough for cum.
Coke spoon.
It's a cum spoon.
Coke. Like, you know how people wear, like, necklaces with demi-tasse?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are even
Demi-tasse.
smaller. I think
Oh,
the
you
Coke
think
spoons
so?
are smaller.
Yeah, the Coke spoons are way smaller.
Mine.
Not Allie.
Yeah, dude.
I just have, like, one of those measuring cups to bake a cake. Tablespoon.
Do people think you do drugs like at the store and stuff? Do they try to get you to hang out with them with drugs?
Everyone thinks I smoke weed,
Yeah.
but no one's been like,
You don't really have Coke vibe.
no, but I did really like Coke when I was using it.
Sure, because you were a drinker.
everybody
And
does.
That's,
No, not
it's
really.
safety, though.
Well, because with weed, it always makes me freak out, and it like does not make me chill. And with Coke, I felt like way more chill. Like because I'm so like low energy that I was like, this is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say more like, this is very helpful.
Right.
It's very helpful. I really enjoy this. This is me
This is
having a
super
great time. I'm
helpful.
having a
I
great
just start
time.
all my days with this. Yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff. I liked it.
Yeah, I knew a lot of girls who were like blackout drinkers who would keep a little bit of Coke on them just so they could like get
I never
home
kept
safe.
it on me.
Mhm.
I never kept it on me or like bought it off of people.
Yeah.
I would just always find people who had it.
You need
Classic
some right
lady.
now.
Yeah.
Classic
I know.
lady.
Anyone?
I don't
Not
buy
here.
Coke. I just do whatever anybody gives me.
I don't buy Coke. I just ask.
How do you do this?
Sorry, is that
I don't-
sugar or something?
And then he's like,
just do the.
yeah, you take a Hoover hose.
Yeah. I was gonna say, pull a boba straw out of your pocket and jam it in the bag.
I used to like with a tampon. They have the part that goes into your
Oh, yeah.
coochie and
An
then
applicator?
the little applicator
Yep.
that goes inside of that. And I would always just take out a new tampon, get the applicator, and then it was like my party trick. I'd be like, "Have you guys seen this?"
Mm-hmm.
It felt like feminism.
Yeah, I have. I've known a lot of girls who use
Yeah.
tampon applicators for cocaine.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
the circle I travel in, man.
Yeah.
That's the company
Feminist
I keep.
circles.
Tampon cokeheads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I use my applicator from tampons for drinks now instead of using plastic straws. I just use my plastic
That's so
tampon
green of you.
applicator. Yeah. It's making a statement too.
Yeah.
Why don't you just use tampons that don't have an applicator and use your finger? It's less plastic.
I use a
don't
Diva
wash.
cup.
I don't wash
Attaboy.
my hands after, so I can't use. If I'm using the one without the applicator, I'm not gonna wash my hands after, and then I have to like.
Have blood on your hands.
Not even. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. And I tried to do the Diva cup, but then I wouldn't stick the right way. You have to be like. I just shove it in, shove it out.
You have to be gentle with a Diva cup?
No, not gentle. It has to like sit in your uterus the right way so that it is like completely held, or else it'll leak. And you don't really know
That it's
if
leaking?
it's in the right way.
Yeah, it's not like
It's not like
There's no way for it to lock in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no latch. that
Yeah,
you're
there's
like,
no
oh.
thing you have to line up to get it to
Yeah,
sink in.
you just have to be like,
properly.
I think that's right. I don't know what my uterus looks like.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, you're like, guess not.
Yeah, I guess that
Guess
didn't work.
not.
And then you have to just take it out, and it's all bloody and
Yeah.
gross.
And then you still don't wash your hands.
No.
Do you wash your hands in public restrooms if somebody else walks in? Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Is that the only time?
Only time.
Yeah, me too.
It's
But
so
yeah.
gross. You guys are
I'm not
so
pissing on my
disgusting.
hands.
I'm not touching anything.
My dick is my cleanest part of my body. I always
I
wash it.
completely believe that.
Yeah. I shower it. I never use it.
Yeah, but you walk and shit, and like so you walk around, and your legs touch your inner like there's a crease
I'm wearing
there.
pants.
What? That doesn't matter.
I don't understand.
I'm Team
It's one of the
Brian on
hottest
this
parts.
Yeah.
one.
It's the hot, like temperature wise, it's the hottest part on your body.
If it's just your
so
own
therefore
sweat
it's
and
like
stuff.
Yeah, I don't
know.
get.
When I go to the bathroom, I'll be honest.
My dick is not in my thighs either. It's like out front.
But your crotch is one of the hottest
I don't
parts on your
touch my
body.
crotch
so
when I'm
hot.
pissing.
Your
Why would I
crotch is
touch my
so
crotch?
hot, Brian.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Allie.
It's the hottest part of your body.
I don't send dick pics. I send crotch pics.
Just your jeans.
You want to show them everything you're
Just a
working
nice
with?
Fanny
bulge,
pack
yeah.
of flesh right there.
I hate to break this to you, but your dick is in your crotch.
No, it isn't. It's out front.
Yeah,
I know
show
where my
us.
fucking dick is.
Show us. Come on.
we don't believe it.
Yeah.
But it's still
I
there.
don't know where the dick is.
I don't know
Can
how
you
it
show
works.
me?
What do you
Yeah.
do with
Yeah.
this?
Could it go in my mouth? Do you think it would fit? I have a small mouth. I don't know. I can't even drink out of a straw. My mouth is so small. Can you hear me? I can't talk. My mouth is so small. I can't even
Straws
open
only
it.
fit in my nose, not in my mouth.
No, but like if I change my tampon, I wash my hands. But anything else, I don't need to. I use enough toilet paper to not touch my ass or.
If I change my oil, I'll wash my hands too.
Like your own asshole?
Yeah,
Just
what?
winked at me when I said change my oil.
I was trying to just do confused, but then I just went for it all the way.
Just tweaked.
I went from confused to like, yeah, baby.
When you change your oil, your hands get very dirty, Allie.
What do you mean change it?
Your
Oh,
car.
your car.
Car
I
oil.
thought you were doing some like when I put
Euphemism.
my
There was no
finger in my
innuendo. It was
asshole.
Yeah.
completely literal.
Weird. Unexpected.
Weird.
Try to keep up.
Unexpected.
Try to keep up.
Yeah.
Let's do the gripe of the week.
Okay.
All right. We got.
Is that a new tattoo on your arm?
This?
I've never seen that boat.
This is a tattoo. Can you see it in the camera? Hell yeah. This is a shout out to Scott Campbell. I won this tattoo at a raffle for $10 and we became friends. And
Who's Scott Campbell?
Scott Campbell's a tattoo artist in Los Angeles.
Oh, I was thinking of Scott Peterson, the guy who killed
Scott
Lacey.
Jail.
Because he killed Lacey Peterson, but then he ditched
my
her
God.
in the bay. He threw her out of a boat. I thought you got a
It's
tattoo.
a metaphor. Yeah.
This is a tribute to Scott Peterson.
R.I.P. No, Scott
Here, you read
Campbell.
this.
Okay, we got gripes of the week. We also got some emailed in, too.
Oh.
So what we do is people email what's been bothering them, and then we just respond to it.
What time is it?
6:21.
Okay.
It's the gripe of the day. It's the gripe of the day. Oh, he's singing the song.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. I'm Luke, and I hate working. I'm Luke. What a weird way to say that. I'm Luke, and I hate working with someone who is almost 40 but can't pick up any tools after he's done using them. I feel like an adoptive parent of a child that I never wanted. He is family of the boss, so there's no repercussions to his laziness. And he shows us a picture of where he works. You would think construction, but of course it's a weed farm.
That's our
Oh
demo,
my
dude.
God.
Yeah. Can't pick up his tools in
Wait,
the
I
weed
w-
farm.
I feel like he's like this fucking trimmigrant. Won't pick up his
Yeah.
goddamn tools.
40-year-old trimmigrants.
He was bred into the.
Yeah, I mean,
He comes from a long line of growers.
that's funny that it's just some shitty
It's a family
cousin.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the family
It's a
weed
family
farm.
business.
Why don't you work at the farm?
That there, you know what I was thinking about is where do pharmaceutical companies get their opiates from when they make like morphine and stuff? So are there family owned like heroin farms
Yeah.
that just only
Poppy
sell the
It's
fields?
like
farms?
Ozark.
They
Have you
sell-
seen the show Ozark?
No.
They live on this like ginormous poppy field.
And they just sell. They have a deal. It's all legal, and
I
they
think
deal with
so,
the
yeah.
pharmaceutical
Yeah.
companies.
I mean, what else would you do with it? You gonna just make your own heroin and not share? I mean, the government's not gonna let you do that.
No, I know, but I was wondering where the government got their heroin from. If they imported it from like Afghanistan, or if there was American opiate farms.
Yeah, I think there's some here probably.
I only
don't
like
know.
locally grown.
Yeah.
grass fed, farm
Where
to
do
table.
you source your opium
Yeah.
from?
And make sure it's pure.
For sure. Joseph John's gripe of the week is when people talk about ghosts. Please don't make me listen to a 5-minute story your aunt told you that never happened. Please.
Yeah, I don't really. I'm from here, and I mean, this was like. I feel like ghost stories might be true if you live somewhere that's like old school. Like
Like
I've
Europe?
I've never experienced any sort of like ghost encounters or anything.
You haven't had
and
any at the store? Everybody always says they
No.
have a ghost story from the store.
That's just because all the employees are like fucking in the behind the main room stage, and you don't realize that they're there, and you're like, oh, I think it's a ghost, and it's just some sad, lonely comic fucking a tourist.
It's some door guy who comes and goes, ooh. That's how he comes.
Coming! And they're like, oh no, a ghost is coming
That's
to
just
get
Ari
me.
Man is coming.
I have a new bit.
That's not true. Maybe whatever the time the ghost died 10 years ago.
Julia Naran's gripe of the week is the bathrooms on airplanes. They're tiny nonsense spaces, and I'm convinced the metal toilet bowls are engineers to maximize splatter.
Oh yeah, I did notice recently that I get splashback from flushing, and I'd never noticed that before. But I also love airplane culture, airplanes in general, and airplane
That's
bathrooms.
quite the opposite of every comedian that's ever existed. They
But
always
that's because
complain
I
about
just
it.
started traveling, so it's very. I love flying. Like, it's very fun. I'm sure I'll get sick of it and hate it, but I do love flying, and I love the bathrooms, and it's all cool and fun.
I do like to go in the bathroom just to get a moment by myself.
Yep.
Oh, that's
and then,
nice.
And I just sit there with the seat covered down, and I just sit on there until somebody knocks. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're
all
like,
right.
guess
And
my
I
break-
get out and I go back to the seat.
Guess
Yeah.
my break's over.
Back to
I love
the
bathrooms, and they also like. I like Alaska Airlines, formerly Virgin, because the lighting is so good. I love to just take selfies.
In
Dude.
an airplane bathroom?
Yeah, because they have that low, like, pink
Yeah,
lighting.
it's like
and
pinkish,
yeah.
purple.
Yeah.
It looks really cool. Like,
They're
Yeah.
playing like Lana Del Rey when you get on the plane and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dude. I was with Tim Dillon at the beach yesterday, and an Alaskan Airlines plane flew. We were at Manhattan Beach, that's right over the
yeah,
airplane,
Yeah.
and there was just trails fly, and it was clearly like condensation because it was a very cloudy day.
Yeah.
But I'm with the wrong guy to be seeing trails coming off an airplane.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
and
he's like,
"Dude,
chemtrails."
What the fuck is that? What is that? Nobody's gonna ask these questions. There's 100,000 people on this highway. There's just trails going over our face. But it was an Alaskan airline plane. So I think Richard Branson is chemtrailing us, and that's Obama's connection.
I don't believe in chemtrails.
Yeah. What about snail trails?
Oh yeah.
Who do you
Snail
think?
trails are
what? It is an
controlling our
inside
minds.
There's
It's an
chemicals in the
inside job,
snails,
sweetie.
man.
Banana slugs were invented by the CIA in 1932.
Who do you think got it? Who do you think got gripe of the week? Who was your favorite? The weed one?
I like the weed one. It's such a ridiculous gripe.
To be
Yeah.
mad at the guy trimming
it's
your
like
weed is
Shouldn't
lazy.
you be more chill about this? Like,
Yeah,
what
you
are,
work on a weed
what are the
farm.
job requirements to be on top of it?
Yeah, I know. I used to work on a weed farm, and we would just like set up targets at the end of the row and just shoot it with BB guns. It was a great job.
That's fun.
Well, I guess Luke, with no last name, Luke.
I'm Luke.
Hi.
Luke the grower. Luke the grower, you get gripe of the week for somebody being almost 40 and not being able to pick up any tools after they are done using them, and in a grow operation. Allie, tell everybody where to find you on the internet.
You don't have to give your street address.
Yeah. Don't give them your social or anything, but
You can find me online at Not Allie Mac, and I have a website that's AllieMacofsky.com, and I have a podcast called Resting Bitch with Allie Macofsky.
hell yeah. You got
That's
any
it.
dates you want to plug?
Nope. No, but if you want to see me, I'm sure you'll find a way, you creepy fuck.
Well, you do post where you are every
Yeah,
second
yeah,
of the day.
exactly.
You tell him. You make it
That's
easy
I'm
for
like, I
him.
don't need to talk anymore about it. You know.
Yeah, if you want to stalk her, be respectable and give her a follow
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Follow first, stalk later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
like-
a process to this.
You don't comment without liking. You don't
Yeah.
stalk without following.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some
Because then it's
etiquette.
like, what do you not even mean it? You just stalking me for nothing? At least let me get something out of it.
All my stalkers are 35-year-old girls with green hair.
And the short bangs.
That's cute that you
yes.
think they're only 35. You know these bitches are in their 40s. Make
It's fine
sure
by
you
me.
guys go to nosirpod.com, listen to archived episodes, subscribe to our motherfucking Patreon. There's 3 different tiers. There's the $1 tier where you guys pay for all the beautiful free content we've already given you. The $5 tier where you get 2 bonus episodes a month, and the $15 tier where you just get to ball on everybody that you're richer than them. Make sure you guys come. We're going to be performing. Brian and I are doing a show at the Oxnard Levity Live on
August 22nd.
and Ontario
Improv.
on November 12th. Make sure you guys follow us on all the assorted social media at NoSirPod, at Brian J. Vokey, at The Funny Carmen. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate the fuck out of you. We'll see you next week.
Sir, I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it.
What is the fucking matter? What are you stupid or what?
What is the fucking matter? What is the fucking matter? What is the fucking matter?
What is the fucking matter? What are you stupid or what?
I don't like it, 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 no sir, I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't want your life. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like
I
it.
don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life. No, sir, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't want your life. What is the fucking matter? What are you stupid or what?
What is the fucking matter? What is stupid or what?
No, sir, I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life. What is the fucking matter? What are you stupid or what? What is the fucking matter? What is the fucking matter?
What is the fucking matter?
What is the fucking matter? What are you stupid or what?
I don't like it, 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 I don't like it.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life.
No, sir, I don't like it.
I don't want your life. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't want your life. No, sir, I don't